Can you say a few things just to make sure the sound is...
Sure. So is this going up on YouTube or on the podcast feed?
This is going to go to YouTube.
Okay, good thing I put on makeup then.
I didn't put any on. I should have, because I'm very pale. I apologize.
No, it's a beautiful contrast with the exterior. I'm just going to turn on the light so it's a little less dim. Hang on a second.
It actually looks pretty good, Kristin. Oh, that is better.
I don't think that made any effect at all, actually.
A little bit, yeah. Mood lighting. I like it.
That's fine. There's some natural light. There's some natural light in here this time of
the
day.
All right, I'll count you in. And 3, 2. Kristin MH, welcome to Gong Show Tarot.
Thank you, Cosmic Threader. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so you have a triple-barreled surname. I just have to ask you a few questions.
Absolutely.
How are you feeling?
Fine.
Fine, okay. Any symptoms, any cough, any sneezing, anything like that?
Yes, all of them.
All of them? Oh, geez. Yeah. Okay.
Better keep your mask on.
Should I keep it on? I'm going to take it off. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to be brave and take it off.
Okay.
Have you been out of the country in the last 11 months?
No.
No, me neither. It's getting really depressing, actually. That's why I'm so pale.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Who's left the house in the last 12 months, right?
So you have a triple-barreled surname, Kristin MH. Do you want to share the full thing, or do you just want to go by
Sure.
Kristin?
No, you can call me my whole name, Kristin Mueller-Heaslip. I am unique. There's none of me in the world. I'm one of 4 people with this surname, so I'm very findable. But
Mueller-Heaslip?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you married to Jeff Hislop?
No.
Do you know who he is?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
I think he's an actor in Edmonton.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. No relation. Okay. No relation at all. Okay.
No.
We make a lot of bungles on this show, just to let you know. I actually became aware of you through a fellow named Marcus Gorfler. And
I know him.
You know him? Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if we met, because we did some deep underground comedy, me and Gorfler, back in the early 2000s. So I don't know if we met then or not. You look very familiar.
Maybe. I don't think I knew him back then. I don't think I only got to know him kind of in the late, like 2008-ish.
Okay.
Around them.
I discovered you through Twitter, and I suspect you're very funny because your Twitter handle is Submerging Artist.
Yeah, that's a joke from a show I was in. It's like, you were an emerging artist for a while, and then that failed, and then you kind of go back under. So
that's brilliant. It's brilliant. Did you write that, Kristin?
Yeah, that was my gag. Yeah, I wrote that gag. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's what made me want to follow you. And Gorfler was following you, so I was like, okay, this is probably a comedian. Now you're an opera star too, right? You sing opera?
I don't know if I would say star. So here's a brief life story for your viewers. I'll try to make it interesting. So my training is in classical music. So I went to the University of Toronto, and my initial ambition in life was to be a concert pianist, and that didn't work out because I have normal person hands instead of freakish ginormous hands.
Me too. Yeah.
But I still play the piano. And then I was, I'm going to be an opera singer. And I specifically was going to specialize in contemporary classical music. Now, this is not exactly a great business plan because there's no market for that, even within the classical music world.
No.
Nobody actually, there's a very small audience. It's like comedy, right? It's like you get 20 people out to a show and you're like, I'm at the top.
Yeah.
Right?
And have you worked for Koch? For those Canadian opera company, for those of you.
No, I have not. No, I never made it that far. So I spent some time kind of trying to break into that. I won a competition called it's funny, I was just talking about this on my YouTube show just now, I think, or I was talking maybe in the after or before time of the show with one of the guests. I won a competition called the Eckhart Grammaté National Music Competition, which nobody cares about. Also, is
congratulations. That's wonderful.
Congratulations. Yeah, that was in like 2008. It was a long time ago. But
okay,
so that was my legit thing that I did, and then I was like, all right, now I'm going to be an international opera star. And then the global economy tanked. So that didn't work out. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to produce my own stuff. And it turns out that's really hard. And
it is hard, but you're doing it. You are doing it. And
just not so much in the opera field.
Don't know, Kristin has a show. It's called This Is a Talk Show. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's on YouTube. Show. It is. Me and Adam Bailey, who's a great friend of mine, we did the show live in Toronto in like 2014. We did it for a while. And then during the pandemic, we had the idea to bring it back and do it on YouTube because I moved to Montreal a while ago.
Okay.
So we couldn't do it live.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so we've been having a lot of fun with that. It's like a talk show. It's like David Letterman, but for indie artists. So
Good. And are you in Montreal now?
yeah.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The last person from out east that I interviewed was actually at the Toronto Zoo, and his name is Marcus Colby. Do you know Marcus Colby?
Think so.
Okay,
What's
and
his deal?
if you haven't watched it, watch the Colby interview because it's quite fascinating. He's in the zoo, and you know, I try my best to interview him, but you know, he's all over the place. He's got a tin ceiling. I don't know what's happening in Toronto, but I left around 2008 for the same reasons, because the economy had tanked. I could see things kind of sliding. So I'm from British Columbia, so I went back home. And now I'm just trying to produce stuff for myself, the same thing that everybody's doing, right? You know, you put it out on the web and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you been podcasting as well, Kristin? Or
I have a podcast project called The Middle-Aged Candy Store, which I do with a bunch of friends, which is a surreal comedic podcast. We just launched on January 1st. So episode 4 is coming out tomorrow, actually
good.
Tuesday.
And are you on anchor.fm?
No.
Okay. How do you produce it? Are you putting it up to Spotify, or where
chaotically? We produce it chaotically. There's multiple people involved and multiple audio producers with varying levels of skill. Okay. So we use Acast. I mean, this is a bit behind the curtain how it gets done, but we all use different software and programs, whatever we're comfortable with.
I use Anchor. I have a show called Wednesday Morning Coffee, and I have a new project called Channeling Hunter, where I channel Hunter S. Thompson and kind of go around. So check those out. They're on Spotify. But I'm more curious about the Middle-Aged Candy Store, because this is not about me, it's about you. Tell us more about that project. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so like I said, it's a surreal comedic podcast. So they're little short, and it's short because I know podcasts sort of tend to start short and get long. I don't know if you've noticed that over time. You start, I'm gonna do a 10-minute show.
They're like 10 minutes, and you're like, okay, I can listen to this every morning, and then suddenly they're an hour and a half, and you're like, I don't have time.
The older the podcast, the longer it is. I actually listened to this one podcast that's been around since like 2009, and it's like it's like 2 hours long every other week. It's crazy. But
Rogan, I don't know if you watch Joe Rogan, but his are like 3 hours. You know, sometimes like 5, and you're like, dude, you know, it's like podcast
you gotta give
life.
That audience. If people pay me money to do it, I'd also give them 5 hours of content. No, so it's there's short little sketches, stories, little things that how just from a kind of surreal. They're not all funny. You know, they're not all like laugh a minute, but they're kind of comedic.
Good. I like that.
Stuff.
I like that. I don't like just like fall down laughing like Will Ferrell stuff, you know. It's good and it's funny, and that's what we're used to, like the SNL style, but maybe a more Canadian, quieter, sort of more thoughtful, drier. I mean, we have that British influence, so it's a little drier, I think, our comedy.
Yeah, so we've had like the things we've had so far, like there's an ad for an app that lets you see the Facebook updates of alternate universe versions of yourself. There is some gnomes high on drugs who are playing Jeopardy. What else?
That's funny.
The upcoming episode has a sketch by me, which is The Littlest Hobo Reviews Wine, which is pretty great. Sorry, I'm getting notifications here. I'm going to turn this off.
Oh, notifications are good.
Yeah, no, my kids are at home.
I'm actually living in an alternate universe right now. As you can see, I've traveled back in time. I'm in an old train station or something. I don't know.
Oh, it's great.
This show just happens, right?
Yeah.
Like we just kind of connected, and I was like, hey, do you want to do a show? I see you have a show, and it's like, yeah, let's do it, right?
Let's do a show. I mean, obviously you're using that app, right? So how else would you have done that? So they're just like, when you have a weird idea, you write something and then you kick it around in this group, and then someone records it and someone produces it, and then that's a show. It's taken kind of a long time to get it together. Like it's been kind of in progress for a couple of years, but again, now is the time if you're going to put content on the internet. Why not?
And what do you do in your downtime? Like when you're not writing, when you're not singing, how do you recharge? What do you do to keep going and keep sane, especially in these times?
Oh man, that's a great question. I do a lot of crafts. I do a lot of things with my hands.
Oh, good.
I do stuff.
Okay, for me, I've been organizing protests down at 666 Spadina. Not because I believe you shouldn't wear a mask, but because I know someone at 666 Spadina.
You just want to make their day difficult.
And I'm trying to drive him nuts, right? Like I forget his name, Danny Krisick or something. Daniel, I don't know. I'm trying to drive him nuts. So I've been organizing these anti-mask protests down at 666 Spadina.
That's a feat to do that from across the country. That's
it's pretty tough to coordinate. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not protesting myself. Really, it's just a gag that's gone nuts.
Well, thank you for your service. I mean, that's very important to have spite to carry the energy of spite across the country. It's
Yeah. It's not easy to do. I would love. There's a lot of people in Toronto that I love and miss. I know there's a lot of great comedians there that are struggling. Paul Bates is one I'll give a shout out to. Some of his. Are you on Instagram?
Sort of. So another venture of mine is I have a failed underwear company. I decided I had to make some underwear because I ran out of underwear during the early days of the pandemic, and I was like, making underwear is not very hard.
I love it.
And I was like, I should sell these underwear online, and I did that, and I did, and people liked them. But then I discovered that underwear are a really occasional purchase. Right? You don't buy one, you're not buying a new pair of underpants every week. And B, I really hate marketing things online. So I was like, this is just never going to work. So I shut it down. But I'm on Instagram as my underwear company.
Were you making these or how you were making them? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you sold them?
Look at a pair of underwear sometime. They're not a very complicated object. I am pretty good at sewing, but it's like I can make a pretty nice pair of underpants. If you really, I guess if your listeners really want a pair of underpants, they can get in touch.
They can still order from you? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. I will hook them up, but I'm not I'm not
all right.
actively.
You heard it here, folks. At Submerging Artist on Twitter.
Yeah, DM
Send her a message. I really need some underwear, and she can make it for you. Shipping is maybe sporadic. I don't know.
Well, yeah, whenever Canada Post, so you'll get it either next week or like 4 months from now. Yeah.
It might arrive. And what was special about your underwear? Was there something special about it or interesting or comfortable?
Well, other than they're just handmade by like some lady in Montreal, they're so like women's underwear tend to have two qualities. They tend to either be extremely utilitarian or they tend to be really like sexy, right? So these were like, I want to make underwear that are cute but also comfortable because I'm too old to not wear comfortable things, like I'm not gonna, like, I don't wear high heels, I don't wear G-strings.
Why bother, right? I mean, it's 2021. We got this pandemic on. I'm wearing plaid and a tuxedo jacket. Really,
you do you.
Yeah. I'm from a timber town originally, so you can take the man out of the timber town, but you can't take the timber out of the man. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So are you bilingual, Kristin? Are you multi?
I speak French pretty well. I did find it's funny when I moved to Montreal, I had this weird sort of identity crisis because I didn't know what sort of Montreal person I was. Like I was definitely a Toronto type of person, right? And then I moved here and I'm like, I don't know what my type is, right? Because it's just a different culture. And then I eventually did figure out my type was, the French immersion kid who thinks they speak French well, but can't actually communicate with people in Quebec because it's a totally different language. But yeah, I speak French pretty well. And but it's an ongoing struggle to assimilate into the culture and language here because it's very much its own thing.
Could you swear for us a bit? Could you go on like a tirade and just like tabernacle?
People say tabernacle. I hear people going through the rail behind my house, hitting a pothole and swearing, tabernacle. I have this great neighbor who's this old Quebecois lady, and she's lived in this house her whole life, and she is having feuds with absolutely everyone on the street, and they yell at each other. So she's cursing out these people, but what's really adorable is she says vous, right? You say vous. She's polite. Like she's gonna tell them to go fuck themselves, but she's also gonna she's not gonna be too familiar.
That's a very French thing
is a step too far.
Speaking of the French, I have friends on Instagram that have been sending me pictures of the protests going on over there. Yeah. It's going crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. What I learned was that there was, so you remember we all know about the FLQ crisis, right? In the 70s, this is before I was born, but some of the terrorist from the FOQ left the country, went to Cuba, had a baby. I think they eventually left. They went back to France after that, and then this baby, as an adult, came back and became a conspiracy theorist radio host. So he has been behind a lot of it. He's like the leading light of the anti-mask conspiracy theory movement here in Quebec. And it's like, he's not even really from here, right? He didn't live here until he was like in his 20s. It's so weird. And it's like, so you're like, you see these protests going on and there's like Q signs and stuff like that. And it's like, where the hell did that come from?
It's all from the internet, right? Like the internet is getting inside people's brains, and it's like, it's creating these worms, and people are spending too much time alone, and they have too much time, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But some of the theories are getting pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's weird. They don't ever, there's no protests where I live. I live in a really quiet neighborhood, so I only see them online as well, because again, nobody goes anywhere. If you don't have to leave the house, you don't. So it's like, I'm not gonna be hanging out downtown.
What was the impetus for you to move to Montreal?
It's funny, people from Montreal ask you that too, because it's like, you're like, what are you doing here? Right?
Why?
Well, I like it here. It's nice. It's like, so it's a combination of like, we were living in Toronto, and like we had this, so your listeners can look up on YouTube, Little Yellow House real estate wrap. We had this house that our real estate agent, who is also a drummer and clown and circus guy, he's like, we're gonna make a rap video about your house in order to sell it. So, and it went kind of viral. So it was on like the news of people making fun of my piece of shit house, which really hurt my feelings, because it was like, I know what a piece of shit this house was. That's why I'm trying to sell it. But also it's still my home, right? Anyway, so so we had this house that was like too small and falling apart, and because of the Toronto real estate insanity, it was impossible to really do anything about it. Montreal has a comparatively quieter real estate market, and it's like, okay, we could just move there, and it's cool, and it's a great place.
I say good move. I know a lot of people that were in Toronto, they sold their homes and moved to Hamilton, and it's like, Hamilton?
Sorry.
It does suck. Yeah, I'm sorry too, but Montreal is a much better choice, I think. So good on you.
It's funny, me and Adam, my show partner on This Is a Talk Show, we did a show together in the Hamilton Fringe Festival in 2018. And it failed miserably. Nobody showed up. Nobody liked it. It was a really funny show too. But
was it a clown show? You mentioned clown, and I'm thinking, you might know some clowns. Like, do you remember a guy named Pachenko? He taught clown, and then he taught Mump and Smoot. You must know who Mump and Smoot are. Sure. And then Mump and Smoot had that space called The Space up on DuPont, and it was an excellent rehearsal space. I don't know if you remember it.
Not really. I know a lot of people from the kind of lunacy cabaret clown circles. If you know those people,
So you know Dave McKay.
Dave has been on our show actually.
He was has he? Yeah. He was okay. I'll have to go back and watch. I'm sorry I didn't do enough research. I watched the one with Danny Krolik in it. That's the only one I was able to make it through.
Nice advertising there.
Well, sorry. I mean, I really love I love parts of the show. The parts with you in it are great.
Oh, great. No, it's all good.
No, I'm kidding. But if Adam wants to be on, send him my contact.
Absolutely.
Krolik, I won't have Krolik on the show. He's banned. He's permanently banned. I'm kidding. Again, I'm kidding.
What was I gonna say? I know a lot of that crowd, and what was I gonna say? Yeah, so the show that me and Adam did was, Adam has a character who is Cupid, the god of love, but as an adult baby. So it's it is a clown character. It's like a bouffon character. So the conceit of the show was Cupid giving love advice, and Cupid's love advice. Cupid's love advice is terrible, because Cupid wants you to have a baby, right? He doesn't care about the rest of it. So we had this really quite fun show. And we did it in Toronto, and it did fine. We were a really late addition to the Fringe, and it did really well in spite of not being in the book or whatever. And then we went to Hamilton. We're like, we're gonna be great. They have this like opening parade thing, and everyone wanted their selfie taken with Cupid, because he's a very extreme looking character. And we're like, we nailed it. We're gonna be great. And then we had like, I think our top house was like 16 people.
Wow, that's it's tough. It's getting tough. I had a show I was working on before pre-pandemic, and it was I had dreams of bringing it to Edinburgh Fringe, and it was called Theatre, a Eulogy. So it was almost a premonition in a way, because it's dead, man. I don't know if it's coming back. What do you think? Do you think theater's coming back?
Well, yeah, I do think so. And I'll tell you why. I think that people seek out and they need group emotional experiences. And that's the thing we're really missing, right? And that's people get that in sports, they get that in politics, they get that in theater, they get that in music. And in some way or another, and we do seem to really need it. We get it in like religion and going to church.
We need story like for sure. My question is it gonna just be this now? Like, is it gonna be, because people are doing, like, they did a Christmas Carol this year, right? A lot of theater groups. I'm sure you saw all the invites, right? I didn't watch any of them because I don't enjoy theater in this form, not yet myself. I'm sure it's very enjoyable and I'm sure it's very good. I don't know if it's going back.
I don't know. I mean, it's in some form, but your point taken. The way that it looks now, probably a lot of stuff's will just not work anymore, but we'll see. It'll depend on how a lot of stuff goes. But really, it doesn't take an awful lot to just have two people on stage talking to each other. Right? You can do a lot with scarce resources, as we all know, from being independent.
Waiting for Godot, I'm sure Waiting for Godot you could do with distancing, right?
Stand 12 feet apart on stage and have a fan on.
Any scene where people make out or there's like open necking, you know, that they'll just have to cut that scene, I guess, right? You know?
I don't know. And singing is pretty dangerous to do around other people at the moment, which is great for my profession. I'm a singer too, and I'm the one singer. There's a church in town called St. Michael's and All Angels, and I'm the one singer that they're allowed to have. Which is, it's terrible because got a monopoly.
Most of the hymns are written for harmony, right?
Right.
So I mean, it sounds okay, but you know, I need doo-wop girls, right? Like,
you're right,
I need backup, man. So in my notes here, I have that you won a cockfight. Is that true?
Yes.
That is true. Okay, tell us about that.
Oh damn! I shouldn't have asked Anna that, should I? Well, I was in Buenos Aires. No, I did not win a cockfight. I'll pull out of the bit. I'm sorry.
It must have been someone else. That must have been Marcus Colby.
I was just doing that thing where, you know, you're in an audition and they ask you if you can do something and you say yes, whether or not you can, right? You're like,
hey, there's a good thing. Are you going out for commercial auditions in Montreal?
No, absolutely not. No way. But no, apparently that is the thing that people tell you. It's like, if whatever it is, you'll figure it out afterwards. But if they say, can you do sword fighting? You can do sword fighting. Can you drive a moped? You can drive a moped. And I think it's terrible advice.
Just say yes. Yeah.
It does seem like terrible advice because some things like are actual skills that you could get really badly hurt at if you don't know how to do them, like driving a moped. I actually don't have a driver's license. So if I said that, I would be really, really in big trouble.
So you don't drive. So do you Uber everywhere? Do they have Uber in Montreal?
They do. No, I ride my bicycle. I walk.
Yeah. Even right now, there's no snow there. It's
no, there's a lot of snow.
You still ride your bike? Yeah.
And when it's clear enough. Yeah. When the roads are clear. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good I did a lot of biking in the summer actually, and I lost a ton of weight, and now I'm gaining it back.
That's right.
Because I'm eating nothing but bagels and cream cheese, you know, so, you know, you pack on the pounds pretty fast when you stop biking. At least that's
when it's cold, you need it. It's like, you know, the bears always, you know, they get fat in the fall and then over the winter burn it off. Yeah.
Bears. Are you a bear? Like, do you have an animal totem?
Kristin? No, I don't think so. I don't know what animal I would be if I were an animal. I don't think I have a strong animal allegiance. You know, like some people do, like you just look at them and you're like, oh, you are just a fox person, or you are just a cat in human form. But
mine's a hummingbird. Don't judge me.
You just eat sugar and move all the time.
That's all I do. Yeah, like I'm moving right now. I'm being incredibly rude. I'm digging actually for tarot cards because this is Gong Show Tarot.
Right.
And I think I've been a bad host. And I don't have tarot cards, but what I do have is this book. Okay. Do you like book? Do you remember books?
I do. I
remember books. I'm old enough. Yeah. And this book is what's it called? On the Wings of Angels. Do you believe in angels?
No.
No. Okay. No. So this is a terrible book for you.
Yeah.
Don't read this book.
Okay.
I have also Screwjack.
Okay.
By Hunter S. Thompson. Are you a Hunter S. Thompson fan?
Not really. I've read a bit of it.
Okay.
But
so what we'll do for you, since we don't have the tarot cards, is we'll just randomly turn to a page.
Okay.
And see if we can find some sage advice from Hunter S. Thompson.
Excellent.
For Kristin Mueller.
Heaslip.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm just going to call you Mueller.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Mueller.
Yeah.
Do people call you Mueller?
No, never.
No. Okay.
So my one of my kids, because his name is not a popular boy's name in French, they call him in the school. They call him by his middle name, which is French. So, not that he wants them to, but it's like people keep calling that to him. But yeah, no, and no one can pronounce Heaslip here. One can pronounce. They can't say any of my names. They're like Kristin Mueller. They get that one okay, and then they get to Heaslip and they just stop. They get Heaslip and they give up.
Oh, I don't know. Tabernacle. Je ne sais pas. All right, here's a little bit of Hunter S. Thompson.
Sure.
We need concentration. Yes, the music. Some kind of German flower song. Martin Bormann sings White Rabbit. Ambushed in the jungle by a legion of naked gooks. Whiskey Uber Als. Get that drink. Get up. Move. So it's telling you to get up and drink.
Hunter S. Thompson is telling me I need to concentrate. I need to put down my phone. I need to practice more, specifically German repertoire, which I love to sing in German. That's good.
Something about flowers. Yeah. Can you sing a bit of Die Fledermaus for us now?
Oh yeah, I do know something from Die Fledermaus. It's the laughing song. Like, Mein Herr Marquis, einmal wie Sie muss besser verstehen. You know that one? It's a nice one.
That's beautiful.
Fun. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
I should put that in the show. People like it when I do real opera ones. I had one episode I did
I love a
French song by Chausson called Le Colibri, which means the hummingbird, and I paired it with the Thong Song, which because they're both about sex.
Are they? At their core, it's all about sex opera. Is that typical?
Well, no. Okay, songs are about one of about four things. One of them is I want to have sex with you. Another one is no, really, I didn't cheat on you. And another one is you dumped me and I'm really sad. And I guess it's all in Italian usually, right? It's usually and people think this is high art, but a lot of it is very, very like
let's go to bed, baby.
Yeah. And the other one is like springtime is nice. Like those are like about 90% of songs would fall in that. And then there's other weird ones that are like, this is a song about an elf, or about witches.
You just reminded me, Kristin, of the Mel Brooks musical where the Springtime for Hitler.
Yeah.
Springtime for Hitler and Germany.
Yeah, I guess that is an unusual one.
A fine land once more. Yeah. I dream of being in that musical someday. I love the producers. And I saw it, there's another comedian when they did it in Toronto. Who played Bialystok? Do you remember?
I do not remember, I'm afraid.
I should know his name. He was in Corky and the Juice Pigs. He's phenomenal.
Oh, Sean, what's his name?
Sean,
something rather. Much more famous than us, but we've
much more famous. I want to have him on this show. So Sean, if you're watching, I'm following you on Instagram. I like all that you're doing. Come on, Gong Show Tarot. We'll read your cards. And right now we're going to finish up here pretty quick. Is there anything that you want to plug other than underwear, handmade underwear?
Actually, I'm on a new album that's coming out on the 19th of February. Called A Present from a Small Distant World. It's a bunch of music written by my friend Alex Eddington, who's a swell guy, composer living in Toronto. We've done stuff together for like 20 years-ish. So this is like a compilation album of a lot of that stuff. And the conceit of it is like, the golden record that was shot out into space in the 70s, right? That for aliens to listen to.
Yeah.
So this is kind of our golden record. It's like, here's some music that probably no one will ever hear because no one listens to this sort of album. But if they want
Can I find it on Spotify?
I think so. Not yet, anyway. Not yet? Because it doesn't come out till the 19th. Okay. But it's released by a label called Redshift Records, so I would assume they have a Spotify as well.
Because I make Spotify playlists. I have and my friend C, who is a guest on this show and also on the podcast, I featured one of his songs in one of my playlists. So if you get on Spotify, I will definitely feature your music in one of my playlists.
For sure.
Nice. I have a playlist I'm plugging right now. It's called Lunch Z. LUNCHZ, or Z if you're Canadian, and which we are. So check out Lunch Z. It's the playlist that just keeps growing. I think it's like 4 hours long.
Perfect.
It just like keeps on giving. And there are shorter playlists there as well. So if you can find me on Spotify as Cosmic Threader. You can also find me on Instagram at Cosmic_Threader. I'm not going to give you an email. Don't email me.
Yeah.
You can email me, Kristin, because you've been a guest on the show. But the guests, really, I don't want much to do with you. The watchers. You can contact me on Instagram. Maybe I'll get back. I don't know.
He probably would. It's like I always say on our show. It's like, we want you to like and subscribe, but don't leave any comments because I'm too lazy to moderate them. Like, just
and wash your hands, will you? Could you wash your damn hands?
Yeah.
Because you're disgusting.
Always good advice in these times. Wash your hands. You're disgusting.
Were people not washing their hands before the pandemic?
No, they weren't. Oh my God, I read the most disgusting thing, which was from. It was a problem they had, I think, like a munitions factory in World War II.
Okay.
There was some problem where like there were like a lot of dud bombs. They found it was due to men not washing their hands after going to the bathroom. So like there was like urine crystals in the bombs, making them not work. No, people don't wash their hands because people are gross.
They're disgusting.
They're disgusting.
And hopefully this pandemic, if nothing else, it's been a wake-up call to bathe every once in a while.
Yeah.
And to just
not
general.
Not even your whole body, just your hands.
Just your hands.
And don't sneeze on people. Like stay like a respectful distance.
Knees into your elbow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, shake hands with your feet now. That's a thing. Have you seen that? The foot clinking?
I have not noticed that. I think
because people, their point was, well, we're coughing into the corner of our elbow, so we shouldn't be bumping elbows. So now people are bumping feet, which is actually a lot smarter, right? If the goal is to avoid the germs. Oh my God, the germs, right?
I think my greeting will just be shouting tabernacle at people from 6 feet away, so they leave me alone. They'll just go with that one.
That's what I do. Anyway, I'm hoping to get my pants back. The police took my pants. I don't know if you've been following the podcast. So I've been protesting that quite heavily. And then I've been organizing the protests out east there on 666 Spadina, just to drive people locally there nuts. Cancel Tim Dillon. Do you know who Tim Dillon is?
No.
I'm trying to get him canceled.
For any particular reason or just more spite?
I actually love him.
Okay.
So it's actually more of a comment on cancel culture than anything else, because I don't really believe in cancel culture. How do you feel about it, Kristin?
I feel like it's complicated. I mean, sometimes people say dumb stuff and they get in trouble for it with their peers, and that's, what do we live for other than that, right? And then other times something happens and you're like, then people gin up a lot of anger about it, and you're like, I bet there's more to the story than is getting talked about. But sometimes it's complete idiots with a lot of power and getting kicked out of whatever they're doing. Like, I don't know if you saw this thing with John K and dog shampoo on Twitter. It's just priceless. Oh yeah, look it up. I'm not going to spoil it for you. John K dog shampoo.
Okay.
It's pretty adorable, and he's pretty mad about people making fun of him for being a complete fucking idiot. And I don't have any sympathy for him.
What about people like Louis C.K.? Do you think we should forgive him?
No. Why?
No. Because he's funny. I really enjoyed his comedy.
Lots of people are funny. I mean, like it's not like what do they call it? A rival good. It's not like it's not like there's only one funny person. I think
and people like Kevin Spacey, we can't watch Spacey anymore.
I think you can watch whatever you want. Like you can watch whatever you want. I'm not going to say don't do it, but I'm saying that maybe like now it's like, does he need more specials? Maybe he can use some of the money he has already. Maybe he can get like a normal person job. Like
one of my favorite movies of all time is Swimming with Sharks, but I can't watch it because Spacey's in it, right? Well,
I think you can watch what you like. Like I said, I don't think
you think it's fine. Okay.
Okay, it's not so much that you can't watch a movie by a guy or that's done something bad, or you can't enjoy a piece of art that some problematic person made because we've all got shit going on. But maybe it's something like this, right? I read this article about Steve Reich, who was a minimalist composer. I don't know if you know Steve Reich.
I don't know Steve Reich. No.
Apparently a problematic individual in a lot of ways, but his art isn't really about that, right? His art's just like, here's some sounds, like it's pretty abstract music.
Okay.
So I think there's a real difference if it's something that's like, this is my 2-hour movie about how great it is to molest children, right? You know, it's like, maybe not so good, but maybe
not a good idea. Yeah.
Here's a song in C major, right? Like a lot of Steve Reich's music is like just pure kind of sound stuff. It's like, maybe that's not such a big deal. Like it's not going to do anything.
Is he Canadian, Steve Reich? Is he a Canadian composer?
Steve Reich, R-E-I-C-H. No, he's an American guy. He's minimalist American composer. One of those guys.
Okay, yeah. Steve Reich. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking of there's a famous comedian named Stephen Wright.
Probably. Yeah.
You may be familiar with him. He's hilarious. Check him out if you like comedy. Have you ever done stand-up yourself, Kristin?
No, God, no way. No,
scary,
not
right?
A million years. Yeah. It's really scary. Yeah.
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 Would you do it if someone challenged you to do it?
Oh, maybe with a lot of practice and coaching. I just feel like I would bomb, you know. And I don't.
Everybody bombs. Everybody bombs. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. Everybody bombs.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll take I don't know. I did improv class. Maybe I'll do some stand-up classes once they happen again.
Yeah. Did you study at Bad Dog or did you go to Second City?
No, here in Montreal. Oh, in
Montreal. Theater. Okay. Yeah. Who's teaching there? Is it the National Theatre School or someone else?
No, just some random randos. I don't know, just random improvisers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just some guy that's like, hey, you want to take an improv?
Out of school. Yeah. No, they're all good. Like they're all people who are good at improv and stuff like that. But it's no one like prestigious at all. It's just like take an improv class. It's fun.
Maybe I should start teaching improv out here. I mean, I'm just some schmuck, right?
It's not like anyone like there's no qualifications. Again, like all Canadian arts, there is no it to make, right?
No barrier to entry. Yeah. You don't need a bud tender's license.
No.
You know, you need a bud tender's license now to sell to work as a cashier in a marijuana store.
What, in case you accidentally sell pot to someone who's like already relaxed?
No, it's basically a cash grab by the provincial government here, but they call it a bud tender's license.
That's pretty hilarious.
Oh yes, I'm a bud tender. Yes, I'm highly trained to tend these buds. Yes.
You know what? Maybe it's not a bad idea because like when I was a teenager, I had a job in a convenience store and your part of that job is policing cigarette sales, right? And it's not like anyone tells you at that time anyway, no one would be like, okay, here's how you do this properly. It's like you just look at their ID. If you think they look not old enough and then they lie to you and then you say, okay, here's your cigarettes.
So do you think if you had to pay $60 for a license that maybe you would have been better trained to sell cigarettes?
I don't know. I mean, or to not sell cigarettes. Maybe there would be some kind of procedure other than whatever I came up with.
Yeah.
I had zero training whatsoever. So that could possibly be better. But
yeah. Well, it's been lovely having you on, Kristin. Thank you very much for doing this. I'll send you a link through the Twitter.
Sure.
I'll send it through Greg Fenning. Follow Greg Fenning on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's a creation of Marcus Gorfler, and he's coming to life. He's a character that is come to life. So he's blurring the lines between fantasy and reality. And we're coming to you live from a train station, and Montreal, Quebec. Is there a borough of Montreal that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to Merci Hochelaga Maisonneuve.
I love it.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
You too.
Happy Monday and all that. And we will do this again. Let everybody know about your show, which is called
This is a Talk Show on YouTube.
This is a talk show.
Every other Saturday.
Subscribe
next show
on
is
YouTube.
this Saturday. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.